everyone, welcome back to my channel. So continuing my updated perfume note videos, one of the popular requests from you guys was for me to do a video about the tea fragrance note, tea leaf. So I'm gonna cover off my top recommendations for tea fragrances. If you are new here, then hello and welcome. I'm all about perfumes. I have hundreds of videos like this going through not just perfume notes, but whole ranges, new releases, perfumers. So do check out my other content. And if you're a regular viewer, do make sure you're subscribed and give the video a thumbs up. That really helps me. And all the perfumes I talk about are linked down below in the description box where you can get them all around the world. So tea is a relatively uncommon perfume note. And there is, of course, like green tea, black tea, and matcha tea. I would say probably the most well-known and famous tea perfume is the iconic Elizabeth Arden green tea. This is a super affordable, super light eau de toilette. First released in 1999, and this was actually the creation of perfumer Francis Kurkdjian, who has now, of course, gone on to have his own perfume range, and like including the bestseller Baccarat Rouge, and he's recently been hired by Dior as their head of perfumer, creative director, whatever the title is. So this was one of his early successes. This is a really calming, quite aromatic fragrance. Tea, I would say it's not in the aromatic fragrance family, which would include things like lavender, sage, quite herbal notes, but it's going there. It's a bit more fresh than a lot of aquatic notes. In green tea, there is a mint note and lots of citrus as well. It's super light, eau de toilette, you know, this isn't something that loads of people are going to smell on you. It's more something that's quite refreshing and comfortable for a hot day or to wear around the house. But you can usually get this for like £20 or something, very affordable, and was probably like the first sort of mainstream like tea fragrance. My personal favorite tea fragrance is from Givenchy, and it's their Ange ou Demon Le Secret. So there is the original Ange ou Demon that has a blue colored bottle, which is a heavy vanilla, kind of similar to Hypnotic Poison or Dolce & Gabbana The One. But then they released this version called Le Secret, which is totally different, has nothing in common with the original, and comes in this like slightly peachy orangey bottle. This is a really refreshing, clean perfume, and it has a very unique quality that I haven't really smelled in any other fragrance. So along with the tea, you have water lily, peony, lots of quite aquatic, fresh notes, and it's one of the few like light perfumes, like super fresh, light, aquatic-y perfumes that I find actually lasts. They did do an elixir version of Ange ou Demon, which I absolutely loved, but that's been discontinued. But shout out if anyone remembers that. But this is an eau de parfum. I find Givenchy in general, their perfumes do really last on me, and they have quite unique, often quite sparkling quality, which is in this, which I love. The Ange ou Demon range, I wouldn't be surprised if this gets discontinued because, you know, Givenchy just isn't advertising this. They've been out for a long time, but I do love this. It's a little bit of a hidden gem. My second favorite tea perfume is from Bulgari, and it's their Omnia Crystalline. This was created by perfumer Roberto Morales, who is another really big perfumer who's created loads of iconic fragrances. This combines tea leaf with a lotus note, and it was actually that lotus note that was the inspiration for the lotus that's in my Aphrodite perfume. Again, lotus is very aquatic, really pretty, and the tea note in here just adds a little bit of greenery, but again, it's very fresh tea leaf. I think this is nice if you're looking for something very professional, inoffensive, classy. You don't want something flowery or sweet. You know, perhaps you work as like a doctor or something like that. I think this is a really lovely, again, quite hidden gem perfume. It is an eau de toilette though, so it doesn't have great lasting power. There have been two tea perfumes from the Jo Malone London brand, so Earl Grey and Cucumber. Earl Grey, of course, is like a bergamot tea, so this does feel quite lemony along with that cucumber note again, but it does have the greenness of a tea note underneath. It is a cologne, so this isn't too heavy, but they also have an Assam tea leaf note perfume perfume called Assam and Grapefruit. This one has a little bit of spice from a cardamom note with that Assam tea leaf, but of course that fresh grapefruit in the opening keeps it quite clean as well. I'd say both of these from Jo Malone London are quite slightly aromatic but quite fresh still. From Creed, their Silver Mountain Water is another quite clean, sparkling fragrance that does last very well. The Creed fragrances are super expensive, but they do last. And again, this has a citrus lemony opening with that tea leaf underneath, and then it does dry down to be slightly musky, but again, it's very clean, green, inoffensive, classy, and I find this really does last well. So even though the Creed perfumes are very expensive, they do perform well. There are two perfumes from Miller Harris. They have their Tea Tonic, which is a very green feeling tea. It has a mate note in, a little bit of nutmeg, and again that lemony opening, so it's kind of like a little bit of a mossy green tea note. And then they also have one called Lost in the City, which is quite aromatic. This has Earl Grey tea in, but it also has rhubarb, geranium, slightly fruity, floral, but then this quite deep dark tea note underneath, but again some greenness from an angelica note, which is a very green, like outdoors leafy type fragrance note. L'Occitane do have a fragrance called The Vert, which is inspired by green tea. This one combines a tea note with bitter orange, so quite sharp, fruity opening, and then you get that tea leaf note. But it is relatively light, very unisex. I'd say in general tea perfumes are quite unisex. And then from Hermès, in their Eau de Merveille range, one called L'Ombre, comes in a slightly blue bottle. This is a dark black tea fragrance with some incense. So incense, of course, is a really strong fragrance note, and it does really shine through along with that black tea. So this is quite deep, a little bit more like autumn winter, whereas I feel like a lot of these tea fragrances I've talked about are quite fresh, summery perfumes. And then recently there's been a bit of a phase of niche brands releasing matcha tea fragrances. So Matcha Meditation from the Replica range from Maison Margiela, their Replica range literally aims to replicate a real life scent, and this does kind of smell like you've got a matcha drink from Starbucks or whatever, so quite specific. And Le Labo also have a matcha fragrance, and this one has a little bit of a fruitiness in it from a fig note, but again you really do get that smell of like you've just bought a matcha latte or something, but without the milkiness. So there are some that are heavier, like the matcha ones, like the black tea ones, and then you've got some that are more feminine, light. Definitely my personal favorite is Ange Demon Le Secret from Givenchy. It's really unique, and like I just sprayed it then and I can really just smell it all around me. It's a good quality perfume. But if you are looking for something that really does smell like tea, and maybe the L'Occitane one would be the best option for you, or the Jo Malone ones, they have that sort of Earl Grey lemoniness to them. So there's not a huge amount of options, but quite a diverse range of options there. Let me know what your favourite tea fragrance is. Which ones have you tried? Are there any others you'd add to this list? I do read all your comments, so do let me know. And they'll all be linked down in the description box, all the perfumes I talked about. But that's it, guys. So thanks so much for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.